up from her bed and picked her phone from the bedside stool. She glanced around hesitantly, and her face fell on the clock. It was 1 a.m. 4 hours' time, and the clock would send out a shrill sound, waking her rudely and prompting her mother to knock on her door incessantly. She carefully walked down the staircase. It was dark in the living room, but she could see clearly. She stepped outside. As she was about to take the road that led to Amelia's house, she spotted her car, an old Peugeot which her father had given to her with a wide smile, as if it was what others were driving, as if she should feel grateful that she had a bicycle in disguise of a car. Amelia had everything: a nice car, the best in Los Angeles High, and a deal with a beauty company. Maybe that was why the boys glanced at her as if she was the next best thing after the vanilla ice cream served in the cafe. They gawked sheepishly and opened their mouths in a way that made Naomi and other girls angry. Naomi wished someone would look at her that way. The boys would line up to see what a beauty she is and beg for her affection, fighting each other to prove their undying love for her. But no, not Los Angeles high school boys, those miscreants. Miscreants she wanted badly. She was jolted back from her thoughts when a cat made some eerie sounds in the house she was walking by. She stopped in front of an ash-colored house and climbed into the yard gently. She then proceeded to climb through the window, exactly how Amelia had taught her to sneak in when they wanted to do unsanctioned sleepovers. She opened the window and stepped in as meticulously as she could. There was Amelia, sleeping on her bed, smiling. Her hair, the golden wonder that attracted men and won her a regional beauty contest, was spread on her pillow in splendor. Amelia would go to the audition tomorrow with that hair and win again. Anger welled up in her. She advanced stealthily and brought out a pair of scissors. Snap, snap. It went on most of Amelia's hair. She wanted to go and leave the remaining of Amelia's hair, but anger welled up in her the more she saw the golden long streak still rest against the pillow. She turned her head. Amelia grabbed the scissors suddenly, jolting awake as if someone had told her in a dream to wake up. Naomi wrenched the scissors from her. Amelia screamed as loudly as her lungs could permit. "What? Naomi, what are you doing here? Oh my God, my hair! What have you done?" Naomi stared at her and mechanically thrust the scissors into her friend's throat. Amelia gasped, utter shock written all over her face, gurgling as she tried to hold her throat to prevent blood from coming out. She jerked on the bed and yanked blood on the white sheets. A few seconds later, Amelia's eyes stared back, coldly, reproaching her. Suddenly she saw a dog bouncing towards her, angrily barking. It was Amelia's dog, Buttons. She smashed the picture frame and took one of the shards. She sunk it into Buttons' stomach. It winced and scurried away into the bathroom. Naomi could hear the sound of someone coming up the bedroom. She ran and locked the door quickly. "Amy, is that you? Are you all right?" the voice asked and knocked on the door, then tried to open it. It was Amelia's mother, Amanda. "Amy, open the door. I heard you scream. Are you okay?" "Yes, Mum, I'm okay," Naomi said in a very tiny and refined voice. "Are you sure? You don't sound like yourself. I also heard that you were kind of wrestling with someone." "No, Mum, I had a nightmare," Naomi said. "Okay, can I come in? Do you want to talk about it?" "Mum, I'm fine. Go to bed," Naomi said. "Okay, fine. It's almost morning. Prepare for your audition." Naomi sighed as she heard Amanda's footsteps recede. Then suddenly she heard a dog barking furiously and alarmingly. She was mortified. Buttons wasn't dead. Buttons ran towards her limping. Naomi had her scissors ready. "Buttons, is everything all right?" Amelia's mum asked with fear in her voice. She banged her fist on the door. "Amelia, open the door!" Buttons couldn't jump high, but sunk its teeth deep into her leg. She screamed and mustered all the energy she could, driving the sharp scissors in as many times as she could. Buttons didn't let her leg go, even when it was bleeding furiously. Rob, wake up and come downstairs," Amanda called to her husband. Annoyed and pained, Naomi held Buttons' neck and drove the scissors into it, just like she did its owner. It wriggled and made a low cry, then fell down and let her go. Naomi heard footsteps. Rob was here. She had to act fast. She could barely walk. Buttons had messed up her real good. She stood up and winced in pain as she held her leg. She went towards the window and heard the sound of the key turning in the door. Her eyes unintentionally took the room in, bathed in pink and blood. The cream silk rug had 2 large spots covered in Buttons' blood, while the bed and the wall had stripes and large amounts of Amelia's blood. She stumbled out of the window and fell down with a thud on the floor. She couldn't feel her legs and her hands anymore, but she could hear screams inside. Rob and Amanda's screams. She got up quickly and saw Rob look out the window. He yelled, "You! Don't move! The cops are on their way! You killed my daughter! Honey, get my shotgun!" He sounded pained and cold, like someone who suddenly realized he lost everything. Naomi ran as fast as she could, and that was as slow and unstable as she saw her neighbor's 1-year-old son walk. She ran into the woods and hid behind a tree. She heard Rob run cautiously into the woods, too. "I'm gonna find you, and when I do, I will put a goddamn bullet into your skull before the cops get here. I promise you that." He came closer to the tree she was hiding behind. As Naomi almost felt her heart explode, she saw a figure dash through the woods. She was stunned. Rob ran after the figure and hugged him from behind. "I got you," he said, and punched his face twice. "What are you talking about? Let me go!" She could see and hear clearly from where she was hiding. It was James, the homeless man who roamed the neighborhood. "Shut up and get up," Rob said, and pointed the gun at him. "Why? I didn't do nothing," James said, terrified. "How dare you? You have blood on your hands and shirt. How dare you fucking lie to me? Put your hands on your head before I blow your brains out." "Man, you got it all wrong. I was hunting squirrels. Y'all got a lot of squirrels here. I'm homeless and this is my food." A loud shot ran in the air. Rob shot James on the shoulder. James shrieked and pounced on Rob almost immediately. The swiftness shocked Naomi. She contemplated running away, but she didn't want to risk drawing too much attention. James bashed Rob's head in with a stone and blood oozed out. Suddenly, Naomi heard sirens flash blue and red lights into the woods and on James's face. "LAPD! Hands where I can see them!" James lifted up his hands slowly and stepped away from Rob. "It's not what you think. I didn't do this," he said, shivering as someone cuffed his hands. Naomi ran out and fell on the floor. "Help me!" Two cops ran towards her and helped her up. She could hear them calling for an ambulance and rested on them limply, pretending to have fainted. She could see Amanda weeping and the policewoman trying to console her. 2 days later, she would recover, and they'd ask her side of the story. She told them with swiftness, the swiftness she saw James descend on Rob even after he was shot, that Amelia had invited her for a secret sleepover, that she came in through the window and forgot to lock it, that James came in through the window and attacked them, that she had passed out when Amanda came to knock on the door, that she had Amelia's blood on her because she held her closely when she wanted to die, that James killed Buttons when Buttons was barking, that James cut off Amelia's hair first when he came in, that she stumbled out of the window when James was panicked that Amanda would come into the room, and that she picked up James's scissors when he dropped it in fear. About the cop's question to the dog-bitten leg, she said she couldn't remember how it happened, but that she couldn't remember everything. All these she said with a straight face, with several polygraph wires and tubes connected to her body, and never indicating that she told lies. She would get up from the interrogation, walk into Rob's hospital room posing like a nurse, and slip some dangerous narcotics into his IV. He was the only one that knew, that might have seen her, and she couldn't risk anything.